All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. And this, guess who I've got here, ladies and gentlemen. You guys wanted this boy to come back, and he's back. And look at his name. Look at his name, Ryan Maresca. Ryan, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. I'm good. I remember a long time ago somebody commented that mini pep. Well, look at us now. We have a mini pep
We
here.
do.
But now I'm doing good. A bit disappointed in you, Miz, because you didn't sing for your intro this time, like yesterday or 2 days ago.
All
I was
right.
like, I cut out that clip and sent it to my mom, and she just watched it like 100 times, laughing. She loved it. But you have a beautiful voice, bro. To be honest, a beautiful
Thank you,
voice.
bro. The amount of comments I got on that video, I think it was when we got the "Here We Go" for Enzo Maresca. So the amount of
Yeah.
comments people were saying, they were like, "Miz, I'm shocked. You got a good voice. I'm shocked." And I'm like, "Yeah, man, come on, bro. I'm a bit of a singer." But
Yeah,
that's for another day. The singing
yeah,
situation. Maybe if we sign a few more players, we might have that singing Miz back again. First of all, Ryan, always a pleasure to have you. A lot of people have been saying, please bring Ryan. We need this tactical video. Every man and dog out there, Ryan, is dropping Enzo Maresca tactical video on Chelsea. And I wanted to do this video with you, but of course, take it to different levels.
yeah,
Really
yeah.
understand whether certain things will work, how it will work, looking at our strengths and weaknesses. Um, but before I get into all of that, Ryan,
Yeah.
how you feel about this appointment? How do you feel about Poch leaving? That whole shenanigan that took place.
Wow. Poch leaving. I think I was on the same page with you. It
Mm.
really depends on the replacement. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna be here vouching for Poch. Never. But it really depends on that shortlist. Now, when I saw that shortlist, first thing I did was click on your videos to see what, and then I just saw you having a meltdown for an hour and a half. So I was like, okay, we both feeling the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, upon looking into it, I guess it's just like the stages of grief, honestly.
Yeah.
We don't have any data to support any argument that we make for disappointment.
Mm.
Or because at the end of the day, this is a manager from a lower league. He does not have the experience.
Yeah.
He's only managing for a 1 year and a half. So
Mm.
when I joined the other side of the coin, he was not managing, right?
Wow.
So, so,
And it's not
uh,
like we have a long history. Like, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. So it goes against any data that we have. It
Yeah.
only goes towards hope and
Cool.
faith in what this guy could do tactically for us.
Mm.
Um, Fortunately, we're not. What?
I was just going to say, you were one of the first ones to WhatsApp me. I know you initially wanted Roberto De Zerbi, just like me, but then you were one of the very first few ones. Once you realized it's not going to be Roberto De Zerbi, you said it's got to be Enzo Maresca now. You were the very first. Like, no one's mentioned Enzo Maresca to me all along. I remember you WhatsApping me saying, "Miss, I think we need to probably get this guy now. Now that it's not Roberto De Zerbi." Why did you say that?
Yeah, I just when the shortlist come out, I knew that I wanted to do a video with you whenever somebody
Mm.
got announced. So I just started watching videos, tactical videos on everybody, and I really liked the basis of his tactics, which we'll
Yeah.
go into when the board comes out. I
Yeah.
don't think it's just as simple as inverted fullbacks. I think
Thank you. Thank you.
in,
People, they think about Enzo Maresca, oh, it's inverted fullbacks. I don't think it's
yeah,
just that's basic like that. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, inverted fullbacks. I don't think so. And next thing is that he's Italian, no?
Yes, he is.
So I could definitely see that in his football and the organization that he has. I could see the influence that he has from Spanish football also. And I
Mm,
really like his ideas of football. He was able to implement it really well in championship, which is a very tough league to implement that
yes.
sort of philosophy.
Yes.
Because whether it's a championship or not, the style of football in the championship, it prepares you for the Premier League. in a
Sure.
way that it's just hard battering English football.
Mm,
So a lot of positives there, but also that I think that he's not walking into a dressing room full of superstars right
mm,
now.
mm.
He's walking into a dressing room that have the equivalence of experience that he has.
Very true.
So
They're all
if he,
potentials. Even the manager
yeah,
is a potential.
yeah. So it wouldn't be like if he had 1 year of experience and was going to manage superstars, Champions League winners, this and that,
Mm.
it could be a problem. But
Like Vincent Company in Bayern Munich.
exactly, like some of these guys probably beat Vincent Company's Man City. And, you know, so yeah, but it makes me think that it could possibly work, but I mean, that's a huge discussion for our next day. Today is a tactical
100%.
discussion for
Let's bring
sure.
out the board, bro. Let's bring out the board. Now,
Yeah.
let's talk about, first of all, Ryan. I've got a lot of confusion. I mean, I've seen whole heap of videos just like you, tactical videos, but a lot of people are falling into the trap that, okay, this is what he did in Leicester, and looking at Leicester, this is what he's going to do at Chelsea, and just basically putting Chelsea players on top of that Leicester system that he had. I want to ask you, from what you have seen so far, how do you think potentially he could set up with us, with the players that we have in our squad, and the strengths and weaknesses of our players, and making sure we get the most out of our players, not necessarily mimic what was happening at Leicester?
Okay, so we don't want to mimic what happened at Leicester.
You're the
The,
first person
this,
to say that, by the way.
yeah, because I see people saying, "Oh, he could be in the Pereira role." Like we are Chelsea. Why on the hell do we want the
Yeah.
Pereira
What
role
is the
for?
Pereira role, bro? Pereira should be in the Reece James role.
Yeah, yeah, the Pereira role,
The
yeah.
Pereira role. Oh my god.
Yeah. We're gonna try to implement Leicester tactics, which is not the case at all. I think the basis is what it comes down to. It's not the 4-3-3. It's not the inverted fullbacks. Miss the basis of Enzo Maresca's philosophy, from what I could gather,
Mm,
is numerical advantage
I
in the
love it. I
parts
love
of the pitch that you want to attack. Right?
it. Yep.
Numerical
Yep.
advantage. Now, Miss, as I try to set up my cones here and
Mm.
distract you while setting up my cones, maybe I should have prepared this before. But I want to say
They look
that
they look
he,
like they look like pancakes, bro. I'm getting hungry.
yeah, I want to say that it's all about not only numerical advantage on the sides of the pitch that you want to attack from, but it's
Yep.
also kind of attracting the players of the opposition to that side of the field, which Enzo Maresca likes to call the traffic, in order to
Mm.
make space in certain parts of the field,
Yep,
right?
yep. I've heard of that word traffic. He wants to create traffic and playing through the traffic.
Exactly. So yeah, it's all about that. It's all about numerical advantage. And I think a lot of tactical people right now, what they're doing is that they're not really taking into consideration where is the traffic going to be and where is the space that you want to create. And it's kind of mistaken in people to think that, oh, this is a really um, one dimensional approach.
Mm.
Inverted fullbacks, um, like crowded midfield, and then wide wingers. And then they're kind of like extrapolating, oh, well, who's going to be the wide wingers? Who's going to be inverted into midfield? And
Yep.
first thing we need to think about is that I think Enzo Maresca and any system with this philosophy, there's a lot of systems with this philosophy, by the way, numerical
Yep.
advantage. And actually, a lot of Italian teams have this philosophy of numerical advantage, is
Mm.
that you kind of try to divide into thirds. I don't know if you could see this line here,
Yeah,
but
you're trying to draw. Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
so we wanna okay undo that there. Miss, I didn't do this in a year, right? So you need to bear with me. I didn't
Oh no,
do
I
these
am. I am, bro.
technical analysis in a year
You're still doing
time.
fantastic, bro. You're doing
Yeah,
fantastic.
so in thirds. So you really want to see where and which third you want to create that traffic, that numerical advantage to attract that press to create spaces in other thirds,
Yep.
right? So now
Yep.
you create an approach where you could attack either through the traffic third or the space third. So a lot of people was talking so far, Miz,
Mm.
they trying to talk about um kind of creating the traffic in the central third, right? A lot of people talking about a 3-2 in um a 3-2. Is what I'm gonna do, right? I'm gonna remove these lines so it doesn't look too stacked, but I want everybody to keep in mind these two lines here, right?
Yep. Yep.
The thirds I'm talking about, right? But
Yep.
a lot of people right now, and all the videos they're gonna see the tactical videos, they're gonna create a 3 and a 2, right?
Mm.
And they're
Mm.
gonna create that midfield diamond here, like
Yep.
that, and then have this kind of image that you see in all over the internet now. And I'm gonna ask you, Miz, does this look realistic at all to you? Have you ever seen this in football before? Do teams really attack like this?
Not really,
And why is that?
because it's just not like, teams are not stupid to just allow you to set up like that. Do you know what I mean? They'll press you.
Yeah. So I think, Miz, what is really important to note is that Enzo Maresca loves to not only build play, but defend with a 3 and a 2. A back
Yeah.
five in that way, a 3 and a 2. Who used to do that a lot? Tuchel. So let's grab some tactics from there and see how it could apply to here. It's all
Mm.
about the angles of the approach in that 3 and 2. So a lot of tactical videos right now, they kind of showing this angle from a plan view where you're just
Mm.
watching it as a 3 and a 2. But how many times, Miz, we came here and we started watching from different angles, a 3 and a 2,
100%.
a three and a
100%.
two. Like,
Yeah.
for example, from a diagonal approach, a
Yeah.
3 and a 2. That you still have, like, you have to play
Yeah.
around with the
Basically
examples.
shifting. It's shifting anywhere, but
Yeah,
it's still 3 and a 2, but shifting.
yeah, it's always shifting. And if I change the color here a little bit, you can see that even though you might watch it from like bird's eye view and think that overload is centrally, really and truly, you're creating a wide overload here by shifting the angles of
Correct.
your approach. And now all of a sudden, your team shifts. This guy, somebody like here who could be attacking midfielder, we could
Mm.
start attacking, like dragging the press more and attacking spaces from multiple angles. And that
Yeah.
is something that you're gonna get with Enzo Maresca, not Enzo, yeah, Maresca, right?
Yeah.
It's not just the 3 and the 2 from a bird's eye view. It's how you could mimic those angles. And now we're gonna get
100%.
into interesting and
And
adding.
just before you go in, just mimicking from a bird's, from a bird's eye view, showing it's like how I've always said, when you have a look at the formation, like say for example 4-3-3, people think that's exactly how it's played all throughout the game, the way the formation is set out, 4-3-3, and players are just going. It's
Yeah,
people forget that it's about shifting and being in different angles, but still carrying on that philosophy of 4-3-3, if you know what I mean. I think that's what you're trying to share.
yeah, and it goes down to this fact too, right? So now I showed you the lines, I showed you the overloads there, right? So
Yeah.
bear with me here that when you create those overloads, right? When you create those overloads, now people always trying to say, okay, well, we could get Kukurea into midfield, we could get Reece James into midfield, but we
Mm,
actually need players who could play all over the pitch. Because if you're
correct.
constantly changing those angles, you need really good football players. Because it's going to have sometimes where our back three will be here, and Kukurea will
Mm,
be in part of a back three, and Reece James will be wide as a
yeah.
wide fullback, not an inverted fullback. Then our attacking midfielder might be here to make that 3 and 2. So now it's going to be a whole different overload in itself. This attacking midfielder could be like a second striker. This winger could make late runs into the box. And now you see that it's all about using different angles to create overloads in different thirds of the pitch, either the left
Oh, well
third, the
said.
central third, or the right third. So it's
Yeah.
now about not who could fit a certain role, but it's actually quite the opposite, Miz. Is who could fit multiple roles, who are good footballers,
Mm,
who are good passers, good defenders, good runners, and really smart tactically.
fantastic, bro. Fantastic. Honestly, from all the tactical videos I've seen, they've all made the same mistakes and penciled down a player in a particular position. And I think what you're demonstrating is You're not penciled down in a position. You have to be able to play in multiple positions as the team is shifting and changing angles and creating overloads. You may be deemed as a left back, but you could potentially even see yourself not only in center midfield, you could see yourself in left wing, you could even see yourself up front. The way it moves, you got to be able to move around, for example.
Yeah. And the thing is like Enzo, our next thing to really note, right, about
Mm.
Enzo Maresca is like he's so obsessed with the idea of numerical advantage is that you know how similarly to Tuchel, I think Tuchel was really obsessed with numerical
Yes,
advantage.
yes,
So
yes.
that you would see our setup change about 2 or 3 times a game. Why?
Mm.
Because we are responding to the opposition. So if the opposition changes to a midfield three or 4-4-2, where they have more people in wide areas, we're gonna respond as such too. Because we're going to counteract their traffic with more traffic to create overloads, outnumber them within the traffic, and have a release point. So for
Mm.
example, right, Miss, I know the hair looks a bit scattered, but say they try with a 4-5-1, right? The other team like this.
Mm.
And they're
Mm.
really trying to create traffic with us, right?
Yeah.
What Enzo Maresca is obsessed with that numerical approach is that we would go not even 1v1, but we would get that traffic here too and try to suck in the opposition to that side. And
Mm.
now all of a sudden, we kind of have these players free here in a kind of release point.
Yeah.
So when we switch play, Miz, the work rate that's needed. A lot of people think like this tiki taka football is not a lot of work rate and movement because it's such an approach that it's just um 4-3-3 and
Mm.
midfield overload. But it's quite the opposite because this, like if you watch the circle there in the empty area,
Yeah.
when you switch play and the crowd goes to the left now, it shows that the crowd is always constantly moving from left to right, from central to left to right, central to left
Correct.
to right. So you
Correct.
have football players playing in all parts of the pitch. Because if you think about it flipped, just as this left winger is wide, this left winger could be in central midfield,
Mm.
this and that. So we really need players who could play football really well in a possession style, but also high octane energy and could fit multiple roles. So yeah, you have any thoughts so far?
Yeah, man. Just on that, where you said that we need footballers that are not only good technically, but the work ethic is going to be fantastic. And you're right. Some of the clips that I've seen from Leicester last season, I've seen exactly what you've done. Numerical advantage in certain parts of the pitch, and then all of a sudden, the man on the other side is got acres of room, allowing that man
Exactly.
to absolutely explode. Now, the first thought that I've had with that situation, thinking from the wide areas point of view, one of the names that's coming to my mind is someone like Michaela Mudrik, potentially, let's say, plays on the left side where you've just touched on, right?
Yeah.
This type of football, what you just said, it requires certain, like, you need to have excellent first touch. You need to be so good with your movement's got to be on point. I think Mudrik, he makes some fantastic runs at times, but where Mudrik kind of lets himself down at times is the touch isn't good enough, and the ball kind of allows the opposition to get back into shape, because
Yeah.
you're going to have probably a split second to take advantage of that shape being disrupted.
Yeah.
That's what Maresca is trying to do, right? Disrupt the opposition shape so that you can find an incision and go in, and from there hopefully people can add into the box and we can score a goal. I think that's the main idea.
Yeah.
If we don't have players that are capable of that touch, that's going to be an issue. Like, how do you think on that left side, which is a bit of an issue for us? It's either Sterling or Mudrik at the moment until we do any business. I don't know. How do you feel that's going to pan out for us?
Yeah, honestly, Miz, I think it would have to be someone who could play both wide and central areas. And for me,
Mm.
and someone who could run in behind. It has to be those three qualities, and that would be Nkunku for me.
Nkunku. I was just going to say Nkunku.
So
You've just described
yeah,
Nkunku.
because Italian managers, and I don't want to pigeonhole him into Italian managers, but so much people are obsessed with that 3-2 and think it's just going to be the typical way you see it online, miss. But so much times, how much times we see a regista in Italian football go between here?
Yes.
All of a sudden, now your two CMs become the two here, and now your two fullbacks are wide, and now our wing is inverted, and now we have our striker creating that
Mm,
overload here, our right
yeah.
wing, you come in as a
And it's
second
crazy
striker.
how in this scenario, you don't really have inverted fullbacks. Fullbacks are wide. You've got
Yep.
you've got CMs that's dropped in to create that five, and you've actually got inverted wingers now.
Yeah, exactly. And his thing is, right, Miss, let me tell you, when you're dealing with numerical advantages, right, and I'll come back to Nkunku, right, because that was the
Yep.
question.
Yep.
When you're dealing with numerical advantages, you kind of ingrain that thinking into your players, right?
Mm,
Because
mm,
because you constantly have to read the opposition to see if this defender drops, I would need to come from where I am to get that numerical advantage for my teammates to be the free man. That is what Maresca and Xavi and everybody in this philosophy talks about, the free man. For example,
mm.
we have 3 versus 3 here, right? What
Yep.
would happen is that the left wing would have to drop in, he would have to come to the wing to take this fullback, and then, well, you know how it goes,
Yeah, and
right? But all of a sudden,
you
you
created a
become the
free man.
free man
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And all of a sudden, you need players who could retrieve that ball in tight number 10 areas.
Yes,
But in some cases, he would be the wide man, the central man. Sometimes, as you could see here, he would be the second striker. It
yes,
goes again, the striker would have to be moving not only vertically but also horizontally.
yeah,
Miss, a lot of people, this system is actually very similar to Tuchel's 3-2 kind of build up,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I remember when we did all of
Yeah,
those videos back then. It was
yeah,
similar.
kind of like that 3-4-3,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Where you have that 3-2, but if you pigeonhole yourself to have the same 3 and the same 2, then you're easily readable. And the thing is, with coaches, as the point I initially made is that when players are dropping and trying to come and get you,
Mm,
players have to have that philosophy ingrained in their brain that you're not going to keep a certain shape because you're constantly looking for numerical advantage in defense and attack. That's why all these players must be able to play 3 or 4 roles if needed.
100%, 100% makes sense, and that's why coming back to the point of Nkunku, I think he's quite capable of playing multiple roles. Ryan, like he can play on the wing, he can play centrally, he can play in the half spaces, he can come probably in midfield as well, deep. So he's able to do that, and at times maybe he could even, slot in between the defenders and be in that striking role because you do need to constantly move around.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And it goes to show that it's not only wingers, but also the striker will have to be moving horizontally also. The
Yeah,
midfielders constantly in motion where they decide on how they're going to help that back three, how they're going to form that back three, and how they're going to constantly create angles to
mm,
make sure that one, you attract a certain press to create that traffic,
yeah,
to create space on other sides of the pitch. But I would say this though, is that, for example, like the difference between Maresca and a Tuchel, right? And our Pep and a Tuchel, or Xavi and a Tuchel, etc., is that some more pragmatic managers will create that overload and that traffic and then aim to switch play as fast as possible and attack through there,
mm,
right? And they would kind of instruct the team not to play through that traffic. Why? Because they could lose the ball and it could spark counterattacks.
counter attack exactly.
And
Yeah.
teams who do not play through that traffic has no problem with defending with only 4 people
Mm.
because they only need 4 people because they're not going to take too much risks. They're not risking transition too much,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
why Maresca is so caught up on his 3-2, if you watch his videos, he's saying he must have a 3-2. It's a must. He always going to defend with a 3-2. And that's why so much people
Mm.
think it has to be inverted fullbacks, which it could be, but it's not always the case.
Yeah.
I think that 3 and 2 is there for protection because Maresca loves to play through the traffic.
Right.
So we're
Right.
not
Right.
only looking to switch play all the time and
And,
move
and
from
and and
side to
just
side.
on that as well, Ryan. He loves playing through the traffic, but at the same time, if you make mistake through the traffic, he wants to ensure that you're not done with the counter.
Exactly. So he's
Yeah.
not only an attacking manager, but he's a very
Risk averse.
smart
He's risk
manager.
averse as well.
Exactly. As with most Italian managers, and you're not gonna find an Italian manager that just crazy out attacking. They're always
Mm.
gonna prepare for those counterattacks. And I think
Mm.
that this approach that he has is really flexible
Yeah.
because when you're looking for numerical like advantages, you're looking at all over the pitch. And plus, he wants to play through that traffic and also play into the space when possible. I think
Mm.
the only mishap it's gonna be Miz, and I'm gonna like segue here and ask you a question, right?
Yep. Yep.
Is that uh, I was talking about cricket, right? With one of my friend,
Mm.
right? And it has this new bowler. I don't know if you know him, Shamar Joseph, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You
And
guys are
yeah,
balling with him, bro.
yeah. And he asked me if he should play for World Cup, right? And I was
Mm.
like, okay, he has talent, but what if he gets hit for a six first 3 balls?
Mm.
What's the next 3 balls he's going to hit, like bowl? Like, does he have the experience to know which 3 other balls to bowl so that he doesn't get hit for 3 more sixes?
Mm.
And I think with a manager that only has 1 year and a half experience, if we get those 3 L's, right? Or for some
I see
reason,
where you're
this
going.
system is not translating to English Premier League yet.
Yeah.
Because when Pep came in, right, he
Yes.
said that he had to change his philosophy to match the Premier League. He had to play
Yeah.
more long balls. He used to hate long balls, but he had
Yeah.
to play more long balls, this and that. And I know Maresca had 1 year in Leicester, but let's
Mm.
make no joke. Leicester is a Premier League quality team playing in
100%.
Championship,
Yep.
right? All the stars didn't leave. They stayed and they got through,
Yep.
right? So when things go left, right?
Mm.
Do you where how could you possibly place faith in a 5 year contract that if things go left, it wouldn't still that it could go right? That is the only thing about tactics like this.
Bro, and this is the biggest question that's on everyone's mind. It reminds me of the Maurizio Sarri season, if you remember, Ryan, where it's a different way of playing football. It takes a bit of time.
Yeah,
You have to be patient. What you've just demonstrated right on that board, Ryan, it's not going to click from game one. It takes repetition, it takes this different angles and movement all together in sync. Every single player needs to be in sync. And to get to that level is going to take a bit of time. And I've got no doubt, Ryan, that we will pick up some L's along the way. Maybe
yeah,
multiple L's, consecutive L's. I'm worried that the stamp, especially, look, I've already said to myself, Ryan, that I'm now. Do you remember when we said a while back, just keep chopping and changing, and just pray that you get lucky that you hit a particular manager that's going to hit, right?
yeah,
I'm now finally saying, I think we might have a manager that potentially could be a hit, potentially. Now, he wasn't in my head. I wanted Roberto De Zerbi, but
yeah.
they have similar-ish sort of philosophy when it comes to, playing football, right?
Okay.
So I'm in for the long haul, Ryan, and maybe you are
Yeah.
also in for the long haul here,
Well, I
where
have no choice, brother. This is the
exactly
club chest. We have no choice.
we have no choice, and
We
I
have no choice.
I feel like any more chopping and changing, these owners are going to look so damn stupid. The board's going to look so stupid, and they'll look, this will be their sixth manager, I think, fifth or sixth manager if they get rid of him. So we have to stick by. But I am
Yeah,
concerned, Ryan, that the Stamford Bridge goers, the match going fans, but all of this stuff that you just said, it'll go over their head. It'll go over their head.
yeah. No,
And
but
they loved the basketball type of football that Pochettino was playing. They loved
yeah,
end to end. They loved the 4-4s, the 4-3s, the 3-4s, because
yeah.
it was just high octane football.
Let me tell you this, right? I ask you this question only three sixes
Yeah.
because oh yeah, sound like a devil man here. He's 666, right? But I ask you that question is by why? Because Miss, I'm gonna give you a trailer here. We're gonna
Okay.
lose badly early.
I'm sure. I'm sure of it.
You know why? Because to do this system, you have to be brave and you have to fail. You have
Yeah.
to fail. You're going to fail to play through the traffic, to make that vertical pass from here to here and not to lose it. Listen, you could lose it one time out of 15, but that one time could result in a goal.
Go.
And
Yeah.
then two times could result in two goals. And all of a sudden you lose 2-0, even though you only messed up twice.
Ryan, we've seen Leicester go through a dip in form from December till March where
Y-
they were 17 points ahead of whoever was coming second and only to limp to the final line with 1 point ahead Ipswich. There's been multiple footage of Leicester stuffing up in build up where of no cause of from the opposition, like totally unforced errors leading
Yeah.
to them conceding goals. We're going to see that at Chelsea as well, my man. We will see that.
Yeah. It's going to be one of those ones where how does he pick himself up? What route will he take? What three balls is he going to bowl when
Hmm.
it goes wrong? Is he going to stick to his guns?
Or is it going to be an
And,
Eric Ten Hag?
yeah. Or is he going to start to give in and question himself because he never had that experience before?
This is a big question, Ryan, man. Hey,
We
we all
never saw
saw.
him in this position before.
We never. He's never
He
had
never
any
saw
experience.
himself in this
We
position
never saw
before.
himself, bro. Look, we all know how Eric Ten Hag played in Ajax. Yeah,
Yeah.
we all saw how that Ajax balled out Hakim Ziyech, prime, anything to do, anything to drop Hakim Ziyech's name in a video. We all saw what that Ajax did. Then everyone expected him to do the same thing at Man United, albeit not the same type of players, no problems, but he simply could not implement and be patient with it because results were the demand. As
I
you said, if results go south for this man, is he going to be gutsy enough to say, no, it's my way or highway? Maurizio Sarri was gutsy enough to say, my way or highway, even after that loss against Man City, I believe 6-0, 6-1, something like that. Bournemouth, we got pummeled 4-0, I remember as well. But he stuck true. He did not want to deviate. He played the way he only knows how to play. And eventually, later on in the season, it was all starting to click into gears. And we obviously won that Europa League final, which was probably the best performance of us in that season.
yeah.
Can Maresca stay true when things get tough, or is he going to buckle? That is what we have to see. That is what we have
Y-
to see.
Yeah, Miz. And I think like for it too is like there's so much question mark around the players, the
Mm,
quality of players. Because listen, we looking at I don't know why our owners look at mid-table clubs the way that they play pretty football and want to have that kind of model, whether
mm,
it's in Germany or whether it's right here with Brighton or this and that.
mm.
Because for all that pretty football, the quality of players in those clubs could not maintain that football for long, and that's why they end up coming 10th on the table or ninth
Correct.
on the table.
Correct.
And the thing is for us is that we kind of in a position where could our players maintain that kind of football? And for how long could we be consistent enough with that kind of football? Because
Mm.
whilst we do have a lot of quality in our team, I think we have a quality starting 11,
Yeah.
but we don't have a quality 25. We're going to be in European
True.
football or whatever, have so
Yeah.
much quality. Listen, when the pressure starts to build and the injuries come, right? We have a good starting 11, but when players injured, players come in, players
Mm.
rested, this and that, it will show that they cannot keep that type of football, and those kind of results,
Yeah.
and things will go left. And the thing is, the transfer policy isn't changing. We're not getting quality players in. We're not getting experience.
Mm.
So, Miz, it's just a miracle. We need that things go, everything could go right, needs to go right.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. I fully understand what you said. I fully get it because this this has a lot of ways of really just screwing us over. And as you said, this is where I want to see the temperament of the owners and the board. Are they able to just stick by through thick and thin, and also negate away from the fans' demand? Because I think for the first time, honestly, Ryan, these owners will have to just plug their ears, because fans will start screaming if it goes south, and they can't buckle. You cannot buckle. Not this time. You
Yeah,
have to stay true this time, because if they think that this type of football and all of these different formations and angles and overloads and numerical advantages, if they think they're just going to have this from the get go, and this is what I want to talk about now, some of the players we want to now put in.
yeah,
Enzo
yes,
Fernandez, for example, is one player that was not able to shine under Pochettino. Our owners need this player to ball out under Maresca. And from what you've just showed to me, Enzo Fernandez is going to be just like every other player all over the field as well. Like, he'll be in multiple different roles all throughout the field, not just in midfield. But I think at times he'll have to. I think once earlier on you did show that the center midfield was quite high up in
yep,
between defenders.
yep,
So
yep.
let's talk about certain players now, Ryan, and actually figure out whether they are going to be a fit or they're not going to be a fit. We can talk about Enzo Fernandez a bit down the track. First name that I thought was Ben Chilwell. Do you think Ben Chilwell has the capacity to meet any of these requirements that we've just talked about?
Wow. So I think that, wow, that's a difficult one
For me,
because
I'm thinking he won't be able to, like, even as a left back or even tucking in, or even he just won't be able to meet the requirements of this system.
yeah, I think, yeah, Miz, I think that when it really comes down to it, he does have that adaptability
Hmm.
where he could play multiple positions, but just the fact that his defensiveness and ball playing ability to be a third center back is not there.
Yeah,
I don't think he really fits that left side. I think more Colwell and
correct,
Kukurea could fit that left side.
correct, correct.
Yeah, really
Um,
well.
Someone like, for instance, even Desasi. Like, I'm worried because in this scenario, you do need robust defenders as well. Like, you need defenders who are not only going to be able to move around and shift around and change the angles around, but if
Yeah,
and
they,
playing
they need
through
to
the
be able.
traffic, if you do lose the ball, you need someone who's going to be quite
Yeah,
robust.
yeah, and not only robust physically to deal with those transitions, because when you lose it in traffic, they're gonna hit one long ball in behind, right? But
Gone. Yeah.
also the know-how to know, okay, will I close in? Would somebody back me up if I close in?
Right. Right.
And now we have no
Right
Thiago Silva
decisions.
there
Yeah.
dedicated, like dictating everything. So it's more like from a mind point of view, do we how do we get that combination between our defenders and midfielders to know when
Mm.
to rush, when not to rush, how to press, how to close in, this and that. Yeah, so it's going to be a big, it's a huge change in philosophy, Miz. It's a
Bro, it
huge
is.
change.
Bro, everything
It's
that
a
we did under
huge,
Pochettino, these players will just have to come into preseason with a blank canvas.
yeah, it's a huge difference. And I don't, for philosophy like this, Miss, you really need certain players that fit that philosophy to make it work, like a spine. Like how
Yeah.
Sari had a spine, Tuchel
Yes.
have a certain spine, this and that.
Yes.
But for us, with these owners, they do not care about getting footballers to meet philosophies. They want
Yeah,
to get footballers to make dollar signs.
correct,
And
correct.
and the thing is that, listen, when a manager has to start editing his tactics because he doesn't have the qualities, it's like building a house and they just have a bunch of cracks on the walls
Yeah,
and he covering
that's
it up with paint.
yeah, and that's when you know it's only downhill from there. It's only downhill.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
covering the cracks on the wall with paint. It's only a matter of time the entire house just falls apart.
Yeah, and he only built a house for 1 year too. This is second house. Third
Like
house.
honestly, from the image that you've just created and the demonstrations you've provided with the tactical stuff that you said, right? For me, the initial five, right, and let's include the goalkeeper. Let's not even keep the goalkeeper away. I think
Oh my
goalkeeper is just as important. The goalkeeper, the CBs, the two midfielders, and the left back. You can even throw in the right back as well at times, right?
yeah.
These set of players, I'm not even worried about what happens up front yet. I'm not even concerned about the attackers as yet. Because Maresca believes in such a deep build up and it all starts from that base. Honestly, Ryan, these players, goalkeeper, CBs, fullbacks, and the midfielders, boy oh boy, they better be not only in sync, but damn good on decision making and ball playing ability.
Oh my. Miss. The thing is, you know, I'm a Kurzuma, miss. Remember that guy?
Yeah. The guy who kicked the cat. Yeah, I remember that guy.
I think it's that guy, you know. I think it's that one I'm referring to. That Kurzuma. Um, I would say, miss, in a system like this, if you start to overthink your ability to pass and your positioning, you are dead. You're
You're
screwed.
finished. You're finished. You're
Point five
finished.
seconds,
Wallahi,
you
you're
don't.
finished.
Yeah, no, we are finished, miss. We are finished. We are finished. No, but on a real note, it needs to be so everybody needs to know exactly what they have to do because once one person start overthinking in that build up and gets caught by that, we're going to concede so much goals. And the thing is, it's so much that goes into a philosophy like this. Is even like anxiety, like the stress of a build up like that. When one
Yeah.
person messes up, it's kind of like a domino effect for the whole game. That
Yeah.
everybody's overthinking their pass and it
Yeah.
isn't coming across, and that's why we miss somebody like a. I know y'all gonna hate me. Said remember that guy Jorginho? We miss a certain player like that for
Yeah.
this kind of philosophy. Because could Enzo be that?
He
Maybe.
has to, bro. He has to. He has to be
Yeah.
that. That's how I picture it. Does he have it in him? We'll see.
Yeah, so that's why I'm thinking, like, Miz, I know I just segue into a big topic here, but I'm thinking Enzo DM, you know.
I've always said it, bro. A lot of people are saying Enzo as one of the eights, apparently, box to box, because that's what similar things that Dewsbury Hall did in Leicester. I don't care about Dewsbury Hall, you know. Enzo's not going to play the Dewsbury Hall role.
Yeah, I'm gonna start to say I'm gonna make a Twitter with that now.
Enzo to play the Dewsbury Hall role. Like, no,
Yeah,
Enzo plays his role. Dewsbury
yeah,
Hall will need to play the Enzo role. Like, that's how it needs
yeah,
to be.
yeah,
Just like how you said Ricardo Pereira playing, Reece James playing the Ricardo Pereira role.
yeah.
It's an insult to Reece James. And Reece James's topic is quite big. But coming back to the Enzo Fernandez's one, I've said it from the get go. He has to be the deepest midfielder. He has to. Ryan, I don't see it any other way. I know Caicedo can do a job. I feel like Caicedo can be a little bit more advanced to Enzo. Not like
Yep.
extremely advanced, but still staying close knit. Obviously, because we've seen Caicedo do that position in Brighton, he's done well. But I feel someone of Enzo's caliber who's already thinking well ahead before the ball comes to his feet what needs to happen and the first time pass and the vision, it's got to be him. I can't think of any other person playing that deep
No, it
role.
has to be.
Yeah,
People hate this word, but he has to act as this needs a register. This kind of philosophy needs a register because listen, it isn't going to be Pep 2.0. It isn't. because I could see that this is more of a Italian philosophy than a Spanish philosophy. Like
Yeah.
the way I watch his football, and I watched a couple matches too, just to see the idea of it. Whilst he loves Barcelona, he says it. He loved Barcelona. He loves Pep and this and that. But I really see the Italian influence in the
Mm,
build-up. And I think we would need a DM. Look at this image that is created. I know I was messy for the first half an hour because I was talking and drawing, but
mm,
I'm creating different images on how it could possibly be creating a 3-2 because you
yeah.
see in different you see in the same 3-2 online and all the tactical videos.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just 3-2 with inverted fullbacks. But Miss, I haven't shown you an inverted fullback yet
You
because
haven't. No.
it's all with the movement, and I did that
Yeah.
purposefully. Look, the DM here, he creates that 3 and that 2 there. It's
Yeah.
diagonal. We have that overload and we have that space to the left. So
Yes.
that DM is going to play such an important role in creating the angles and our 3-2. Honestly,
Yes.
miss, there should be several different 3-2 formations we could create
Several.
in
Several.
several different angles and parts of the pitch. Why?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you want to always keep the opposition thinking that I do not know what the hell I'm going to do.
Mm, mm.
Because if you keep doing it the same way, they will do their homework and say, okay, we're going to close them down like this.
Yeah.
But when you
Yeah.
have several different ways to build up, plate, and choose from, it becomes so much more dangerous and lethal. But not only that, you know who controls that, miss? The first movement is always made from the register. He will choose
Yes.
if he wants to go between the two CBs, if he wants to go between the fullback and CB, if he wants to go advanced, he will choose the angle where it's going to go. That's
Mm.
and that is so Italian, and
Yes.
it is such this philosophy here is so Italian more than Pep, and it will require a specialist in that role. I think,
You're right, Ryan. Just to interject, as soon as the goalkeeper starts the build up and lays it off to, let's say, one of the defenders, it's that DM that's going to shift
yeah,
whichever way, which then will
exactly.
dictate the play of the build up.
Yeah, and it will dictate where the fullback goes. Because if the DM, right? Let me just move this here. If the DM just moves from here to there, right?
Yeah.
Then Reece James or something get to advance into inverted midfielder position or a
Yes.
wing back position, a right wing back position here, and
Yes.
then everybody shifts. And now when we see that happen now, then the left back sees the trade has been made, so he can get to advance and go into wide winger positions. Now
Mm.
our overload is make. Now our next winger is kind of like a second striker. And
Yes.
now we kind of seeing that okay, we want to play through the traffic. So is Jackson gonna come down here and be that vertical, whilst our two wingers acts like two strikers and run into the space?
Correct.
So, and now
Correct.
all of a sudden here, our Enzo here now, I know it's kind of far, but Enzo here has the choice that, okay, maybe I could just hit a long ball to
Long.
wide
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And or if I want, I could switch play out here to my
Yep.
fullbacks. Now we have
Yep.
many ways of playing through football. We want to play through the traffic, we want to go vertical, we want to go long balls. And it all starts off with one movement. And a lot of people thinking about this inverted fullbacks thing, which is
Mm.
cool. It is just one out of the several ways to do this
100% agreed.
numerical advantage.
100% agreed. And sometimes we'll also have to understand that the personnel we have are not always going to be suited for invert. Like, even though I think Kukure is someone who can definitely, play the inverted role nicely. And I also believe Reece James could play the inverted role nicely. However, I feel like Reece James in that picture that you just said, just demonstrating over there, where sometimes maybe he's a right winger, that's
Yeah,
probably where you're going to get a lot of benefit out of Reece James. You want to understand Reece James's strengths as well. His strength is
yeah,
to go wide, hit the byline, and be able to cross it in, because
Miss-
that is one of his assets.
yeah,
You
for
don't want to
sure.
dilute the asset. Do you know what I mean?
For sure. I'm gonna ask you. We could do something fun for the remainder of this video, right?
Go
So
on.
I described to you the different combinations it could look. How we're gonna do overloads, how we're going to create space, how we're going to do it in different thirds of the pitch. hopefully I give you all something a bit different from everybody else.
Of
Hopefully,
course, I've not seen
um,
anyone do this level of. I'll tell you right now, and I'm going to promote this so much. I've not seen this detailed level of tactics from any other video makers out there, because all I've seen from majority of them is looking at what Leicester did and applying Chelsea players on top of it. That is the most naive way to look at it, in my opinion.
Miz, they didn't even look how Leicester play, bro. They just look at a 5 minute video on coach's voice and then recreate it. They didn't know. You can't tell me they watched Leicester play, bro.
They didn't
Come
watch Leicester,
on.
bro. They didn't watch Leicester.
Come on, let's be real here. Carefree tactics, Ryan and Miz, we back. We know where to come for tactics, man. That'll be a little
Come
cocky with
on,
it, you know?
come on, come on.
Anyways, Miz, I'm gonna ask you this, right? Let's go 11 for 11. We have 11 minutes left. Let's do our 11.
Oof,
The
I love
best
it.
11.
Yeah.
And for each player, you give me yours, give me your
Okay.
reason. I'll counteract it, and we'll keep it like that. Start with,
Yep.
well, keeper. We don't even have a. You want to start with keeper, or you want to go with
Well, start
defenders?
with the keeper. Start with the keeper. We need a keeper. So start with the keeper. We need a keeper.
We need a keeper in transfer market.
We need a keeper. So that one you can keep it as blank. Because I look, as much as I think Petrovic has done well last season, but this level requires, because at times I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan Maresca. At times I
Yeah.
think the goalkeeper might be part of that five,
Yes,
which
for
may
sure.
shift another player further up.
For sure.
So it's not always going to be where the goalkeeper is not involved. Sometimes he may not be involved of the five, but there might be times where we want to push another body up front and create a um, more obvious numeric advantage. He may slot in between the defenders and act as one of the five.
Exactly.
So for
Exactly.
me, in that sense, Petrovic and Robert Sanchez and Kepa and all of that, I don't think you're good enough. I think Petrovic can be a secondary keeper, no problem. So we need a goalkeeper. So goalkeeper, keep it blank. Which next position do you want to ask?
Yeah. I think, Miz, let's go with left back, but you have to pick one from Kukurea or Colwell.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
or Chilwell. Not forgetting Chilwell.
no. Don't forget Chilwell. It has
Yeah.
to be Cucurella because of his technical ability and his ability to play in multiple roles. It has to be Cucurella.
Okay.
Because if we allow Chilwell to do this, brother's just gonna get his head all messed up, and it's gonna be chaos.
Okay. Okay. So I agree with that. I'll go with Kukurea also. I think that honestly, Miz, correct me if I'm wrong, but when the Man City wanted Kukurea, was Enzo Maresca
Mm,
there?
yes, 100%. I've said
Yeah.
this many times. People are like, "Oh, Chelsea will sell Cucurella." I don't know, man. Maresca was there at Man City when they wanted Cucurella.
And when like Pep takes a lot from his assistant
Of
coaches.
course, of course.
Like I remember a lot of people were stressing just how like important Arteta was to
Mm,
those years that he won the league there.
yes,
And I think that over the past few years, there's ever been a change to three at the back kind of build up and defense and stuff from Man City.
yes,
And
yes.
I was just thinking, like, how much of that approach did
Is Maresca,
Maresca, like, kind of ideas?
bro? Have you seen Kovacic playing in that left back, right back sort of position this season? How many times Kovacic was part of that back three, slotting into
Yeah,
those strange areas?
and that's yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I told you one day, Miss, that I would like Kovacic playing that kind of role, where he
You
was
have,
like
yeah,
kind of roaming around because he's so press resistant and good in those areas.
yep, yep. You
Yeah,
have.
I didn't want that guy anywhere close to the goal. And they put him at fullback. But yeah, before we go on, right, on
Mm,
defenders there, this is a 3-2, right?
yeah.
This is like a vertical 3-2 with the three at the back and this and that, right? But you could see it as a 3-2, 4-3-3, but in essence, yeah, this is just another way you could use it. Just because it's an overload in the middle, that doesn't mean you're gonna play with wide wingers and then a striker at the center, this and that, right? If you
Mm.
watch this carefully here, you can see it's a 3-3-1-3,
Mm.
right? So it
Yes,
has
yes.
so much ways to play football with this formation. And I don't think you're gonna actually see regimes and stuff here that much into these areas. It's gonna be more like, for example, if a DM comes in here, then
Mm.
the center drops here, and then it'll be like a
Yeah.
3-3-1-3. If
Yep.
you watch it there,
Yep.
this is a 3-3-1-3. So you're not
Yeah.
gonna see
Yeah.
regimes here.
3-3-3-1.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like a 3-3-3-1,
Yep.
and something
Yep.
kind of like what Bielsa does and what many managers does when they're trying to build with a 3 and a 2. That it's not, if you think about an inverted fullback, it's not necessarily they playing as midfielders. It's kind of more like they're playing like wing backs, honestly, or wide midfielders.
Yep. Yep.
They're
Yep.
playing like wide midfielders, honestly. It has so much ways we could build and play football, and that's why these two fullbacks here needs to be so comfortable with somebody on them in that traffic, and
Mm.
to find space and to, because a lot of the times the fullback going to be acting as a marked man, and then the winger going to be the extra man, and the winger is the one who's going to get that pass into space. So it's just something to keep an eye on. I just drawing different combinations so I could give you all a good like idea of the different ways we could attack with this
100%.
4-3-3 under Maresca. But yeah,
100%.
what position we were on?
CBs.
CBs? Okay. Here's how I'll do it, right, Miss?
Go on.
Cucurella left back for the
Yep.
reasons I said. I
Yep.
would go with left center back. I'll go with Colwell,
Yes, I agree.
because if we're going to use a register, very good. I know everybody will talk about his passing, which is amazing, honestly.
Mm.
But I think that if we want to give our register full, like like full freedom to move,
Mm. Mm.
then our center back has to have full ability to move too.
Yes.
And if you
Yes.
have our register between the two center backs here, we need a Colwell here who could be comfortable moving here and shooting those and spraying those passes,
Correct.
but
Correct.
also be good enough to recover if they lose the ball. If somebody intercepts here, he needs to be able to cover here if
Cover
needed,
those ground.
right?
Yep. Yep.
So I really want our center backs to be comfortable in fullback positions,
Yes. Yes.
right? So I would go Colwell on the left. What do you think?
I fully agree. And I will also go with Wesley Fofana on the right if he's fit enough.
No, yeah, I
You
was thinking
disagree?
that too. No, I
Oh,
was
okay.
thinking that too.
Yeah.
But I haven't been up to date with the news, right?
Mm.
But what do you think about the Araujo thing? What do you think about that?
I like Araujo, but I have also seen him make some clangers, man, some big mistakes. I think recently I saw them against PSG where Ilkay Gundogan came publicly and saying that, there was a moment where I think Araujo jumped in. It's what you said earlier. Like the players will need to know when to jump in and when to maybe hold
Yeah,
back. Because
yeah, for
one
sure.
error, you're over. It's finished. One misjudgment, it's game over. And I feel like Araujo overall, he's a very, very good, strong defender. Very good on the ball. Got the physicality, got the pace as well. But there is a tendency of making some like diabolical errors, which will lead
Yeah,
to goals. So
yeah,
I'm concerned about that side of Araujo.
yeah. I think I really like the idea of our center back having that hybrid right backness to them.
Correct.
Kind of like how
Correct.
Christensen had when he was playing RCB.
Correct.
Um,
Correct.
and kind of, well, how we see
This
it
is why I kind
Araujo.
of favored a little bit Chalobah. I know Chalobah's no finished product or anything, but Chalobah's someone who's able to play that RCB role. He did it under Thomas Tuchel as well, if you remember.
Yeah, for sure. But one thing I'm scared about, Miz, is that we don't have a general in the back.
We don't. We
We
don't.
don't have a
None of them are
general,
leaders.
and we need a general in the back. I think Enzo could be a general as DM. I really believe that.
I agree.
I
I
believe
agree.
that. But we need a general in the back, not only with the skills and know-how what to do in the game,
Mm.
but also the leadership to take initiative in movements.
Yeah.
Not in
No,
defending, but also in attacking.
I fully agree with that. And now that with no Thiago Silva, I don't have huge faith on your Desarcis and Buddy Shields to be leaders. I think they'll buckle as soon as
I
there is an issue. They will buckle.
I feel
Um,
like Fofana and Caldwell is like two and the same. Is like they don't balance each other off.
they don't. You're right. They don't balance each other off. You're right. But this is what we have. Unless we go into the market and get a CB, we're linked with a CB. But I don't think we're going to get a CB that is
An adult,
elite. Yeah, an adult, an adult. Yeah, like it'll be another young player
a legal
who,
adult.
yeah, it may be a player that has experience at the highest level, but still be a kid though. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I got you. That's one thing I'm scared about with CBs is that
Yeah.
I feel like they're kind of mirroring each other,
Mm.
and I feel like we can't have two crackheads in the back. We need to just have one
Yeah.
inexperienced, and we need somebody who could really be a general. We need a general center back to mix with that register.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think Chelsea for so long had a general in the back,
Yeah.
and I don't think it has anybody who could raise their hand up and be a general because they're so young.
Not at the moment. Not at
Like
the moment.
when we ran out of a general, Rudiger raised up his hand and
Yes.
become a general for us.
Yes.
And even though we had Thiago Silva, of course, but I feel like right now we don't, and I not don't think, I know we're not going to buy a general in the back. So,
We're not. We're not. Well, of course, we're not going to buy a general. That's
so I
against the
guess
policy of our owners.
Fofana and Colwell will be the best then.
Yeah, right now. And we just have to hope that they become the next generals for us. I think DM, as you said, Enzo Fernandez, I fully believe that he could be the general there. He has to be the conductor over there, running the show with or without the ball. Sometimes he'll have to run the show without the ball, just basically getting into areas and shifting that angle around,
Yeah.
and basically kickstarting a build up from there. So I'll go with that. Right back, I think it has to be Reece James. He's got the. I'm actually quite comfortable with Malo Gusto as well, to be honest.
Reece James. Okay. I think on paper, everybody will go for Reece James thinking about
Of
an
course,
inverted fullback.
of course.
Inverted fullback. But I think it's equal between both because we haven't seen much of Reece James for 2 years.
Yeah, yeah,
So I think it's equal between both. Don't think there's much discussion there. Miz,
yeah.
I think the midfield gonna be a huge discussion. I
Huge
think
discussion.
we talked
Huge.
about Enzo quite a lot, but I want
Yeah.
your idea on the two central midfielders.
Yes.
And then with the
Yes.
same in the same shot. Two birds, one stone. Two
Yes.
midfielders. What are you thinking? Yeah.
Wow. One of them has to be Caicedo. So the one that's closest to Enzo, I feel that needs to be Caicedo.
Which one?
Yep,
This
that
one
one.
or maybe this one here. Which
No,
one?
that one, that one. Well, whichever way you want to play.
That's a trick question.
That was a trick question. Yes,
Yeah.
whichever way you want to do it, right? I think
Yeah.
that needs to be Caicedo, and the other one, here's my trump card.
Gala dog. Let's get him.
Galadog's gone, bro. I think the other one has to be Cole Palmer.
You know what, bro? I was thinking it, I was thinking it.
I think Cole Palmer in those areas is devastating. I've seen it in the last Mano
Wow.
games where Cole Palmer's dropping in deep into midfield and then nonchalantly floating into the final third.
Like
That's the
Iniesta, yeah.
type of oh, I want that guy. I need that guy, and he
Cool
seems to have
slaw
the fit.
Palmer, yes? Yeah.
Yes, and it seems like that other CM has the ability to float anywhere across the field as well. Wherever the
Mm.
angle decides to go, they have the ability to float around. And he has got the guile, he's got the touch, he's got the vision. You need equally, just as much as the register to have the vision, you also need that CM to have the vision as well.
Yeah.
It has
Yeah.
to be him for me, and Caicedo has to be the other midfielder.
Mm. Miss,
Which
I
then now
like
says, well, who
it.
do we put up front, right? Like, who do we put in? If we're already playing Cole Palmer there, who's going to be in the wings? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Miss, I like it. I think that
You're
makes
excited,
the
aren't you?
best.
You're excited for the
Yeah,
Maresca
yeah.
move.
You listen, you didn't read my name there, bro. Yo,
Love it, bro.
bro, Um, yeah, no, but I think you're exactly right. Talking about traffic, we can't
Yes,
have three midfielders and both three of them not comfortable with their back against
yes,
defender. They can't turn, take on players, dribble through,
yes,
make that flick, pass
yes.
this and that. We need that flair player in midfield.
100%,
Cole
100%.
Palmer has to be that one. He has to be our Iniesta. That's how I view him. I view him as
Yeah,
our Iniesta.
yeah,
Iniesta used to play on the wing, but then when he came into midfield, he became somebody that could play anywhere in the second half of the pitch.
yes.
Anywhere.
Fully
And
agree.
I think Cole Palmer is going to become one of the best footballers in the world. I didn't get to talk about him.
By
I
the
didn't
way,
get to talk about him.
Maresca and Cole Palmer, they know each other.
Yeah, they're related.
No.
I'm joking.
They're in the Man City setup. They're in the Man City setup.
Yeah, Cole Palmer. I think he's gonna. I didn't get to talk to you since like last year, but a
Mm.
long time ago in Bethlehem. But Cole
Bethlehem.
Palmer is gonna be one of the best footballers in the world. I have not seen a gifted young player
Yeah.
like that. In it is a once. Okay, I know that's a
We got lucky,
generational
bro. We
player.
got lucky with this
No,
Cole Palmer thing. We got
it's a
full luck.
generational player, miss. This is what you call generational.
I think you might be right, bro. I
You
really
don't
do.
see a young player come into Chelsea in the Premier League and have
Mm.
a season like that. And that wasn't a mistake season. That's quality and touch
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
physicality and skills and
Yes.
brains and everything. You
Yes.
don't see that with a young player like that. You see it once a generation.
Yes. I love how you just said every movement he did last season was not a mistake. It didn't just
Yes.
happen by chance. It
Yeah.
happened because of his talent.
That guy has me hanging on to this Chelsea team. If we
Mhm.
did not have Cole Palmer, but maybe Enzo Maresca would be facing like more championship teams next season, right? He would have to win the league again.
Yeah, you're right, bro.
Yeah.
You're right.
Now, Cole Palmer, I can't talk enough about him, but it goes down to the question is right wing.
Yes. This is
Yeah.
why I am saying Michael Olise.
Michael
We
Jackson up front, yes? Michael
we
Jackson.
we become he will be a game changer for us on that right wing. A game changer, Michael Elise. I know a lot of people say, well, Madueke, isn't it? Look, with all due respect with Madueke, it's not the same level of Michael Elise.
I think
Michael
so.
Elise is a baller.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolute baller. Look at the damage he's doing at Crystal Palace under Oliver Glasner over there.
Yeah.
This guy
Yeah.
on the ball. Oof. Dribbling ability, passing ability, another visionary type of player. You need these technical players all over the field for this to work out.
Yeah.
And he's already having a kickstart in Oliver Glasner's system. And we see how Crystal Palace have been balling out since Glasner's come on.
Yeah.
This is why, for me, Marco Elise is so important. Honestly, Ryan. More than I will even go out there and say, and this might be an outrageous take, more than a striker. Because I'm about to say my striker, I'm happy to keep Nicholas Jackson up front
I
because I think
think
he
we
might
should.
actually play well.
I think Nicholas Jackson has showed like in this season he's a young player. We
Mm,
need to keep faith in him. Him in a good setup could push to 20.
yeah.
I think, and he's not one dimensional at all.
Mm,
He is a young child. He's a child, right?
yeah.
So I'm not gonna get too vexed with him with his attitude and stuff like that. He's a child around children, right? But I would say that I think that we have a good player in him. I think we have
And
a good
what
player.
you've demonstrated, Ryan, I think Nicholas Jackson being that striker position and
Yeah,
being able to shift and move and tuck in and come
yeah,
deep at times if he needs to create that numerical advantage, because that is the name of the game. I think he does it he will do it to the T.
yeah.
Yes, there is the issue of him. Can he score goals? Do you know what I
Uh,
mean? Can he be
and listen,
ruthless enough?
I think for a long time I wanted Chelsea to have a striker that wanted to score goals.
Yeah.
I think we had Havertz, we had these other guys, forget all them, but Havertz and these people play at number 9 for the past few years, and we was like, when the ball went in the box, nobody was attacking it like a bulldog. Nobody looked like
Yeah,
they wanted to score.
yeah.
And one thing I say about Jackson is that he wants to be in it. He wants you to pass that ball to him only. Do not pass to anybody else. Pass to me because I am the striker and I want to score. And will he score? Maybe not. But I think that as a young player, he has so much more going for him than going against them, and we should give him that next season to go again, especially that we're not in Champions League football
Mm.
and stuff like that. He could go again. But miss, Olise, I think on the left wing, you're gonna say Nkunku also. You're gonna
Yes, 100% in Kunku.
okay.
100% in Kunku.
Now, I wanted to ask you, not that no disrespect to Nkunku, because we just talked about him for 2 seconds and I'm gonna move on. But I want to ask you this, Miss.
Yeah.
Right? This is our amazing starting 11. I think this starting 11 could get us top 4 if things
Mm.
go right. Right?
Yeah.
But the problem is, Miss, we don't have an amazing 25.
Yes.
We actually have
Yes.
a really worrying 25.
Yes.
Because let me tell you, if Enzo Fernandez has to take more injections into his knee and he cannot play for a few
Mm.
months,
Mm.
who is going to be a regista? Is it going to be Caicedo?
Well, this is why I was thinking you have to keep someone like Andre Santos in the team as a backup and get him keep training
And that's
and
worrying, yeah?
that's
And
worrying because he's young. He's young.
yeah, and that's where the experience comes in. Like, for example, if Cole Palmer gets injured, you can't put Nkunku as a central midfielder. Even though he could do a good job as an attacking midfielder, you're not going to put him CM.
No,
Who's going
no.
to fill that role of being that play? I know you're not going to get 2 Cole Palmers in a team, but who's going to fill the role and the ability to do that?
I don't think anyone can have a full effect like Cole Palmer, but
But
that's
a
where I put
tactical
you
effect.
maybe. Yeah,
They can't
like a
even have a
tactic.
tactical effect
Yeah,
of
someone like Chukwuemeka. I think Chukwuemeka is quite good.
okay. So that's a question we need to ask ourselves here.
Mm.
Like, I think mainly for them 2 positions. I think everything else we could work around.
Yeah, yeah,
I think striker, winger, centre backs that we could work around.
yeah.
It's our spine we can't work around, is
We can't work
we
around
can't
this
work
one.
around
Yeah,
our goalkeeper,
no.
our regista, our attacking midfielder, and our
Yes,
striker. There's no
correct,
work around there.
correct, correct.
And that is
Absolutely
what the
correct.
owners do not get.
And this is, I love the way we're going to end this show. Let me just bring this back to us now.
Yeah.
This is a fantastic way to end this show. The way we've just created that there are certain players that you cannot be stupid about. You got to go to the market and you got to buy the right caliber of players, not the next 15-year-old, not the next 16-year-old. You need someone who's going to be able to perform what you just showed, that DM role, that attacking
Yes.
midfield role, that striker role. So I don't want no stupid links in this transfer window. Some just random names. And we're all excited because it's another new player, that dopamine hit. No, it's got to make sense. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It
Will it?
absolutely needs to make sense. It
It's
won't. It won't.
it
That's the thing. It
is
won't.
specific players that need it. Means we need an ex register. Where are we gonna get that from? We need an ex.
We're not even linked with any more midfielders because, you know, we've got a plethora of them. We bought Leslie Ugochukwu last season as well,
Oh
who I
yeah,
don't
and
know what
then
the plan
Lavia will
is.
come back.
We got Lavia. By the way, we forget Lavia. I think Lavia is someone who's got immense
He will
talent. By the
be
way,
yeah, he'll
Yeah,
be fantastic.
yeah. Romeo Lavia is very, very good, and we keep forgetting him because of the amount of injuries that he's had. So maybe he's someone who could potentially play a register kind of role. But
Maybe
it will take a lot of repetitive training. Do you know what I mean? To make sure
yeah.
that he can execute the level that we want him to execute. Do you know what I mean?
And that's why Miz for the attacking midfielder, we might need to look in like and buying back Mason Mount, bringing him back in, like Get that somebody
Wow,
you
I
can.
did not expect that out of nowhere. RKO like that. Wow. Um,
I'll end it on that one. Yeah.
you're crazy, Ryan, bro. You're crazy. I love it. I think that attacking midfield we can make do. I do believe in Chukwuemeka a lot. I think
Okay.
Chukwuemeka
I see
is
that too. I forgot about them, but yeah,
yeah,
I do believe
Chukwuemeka
that too.
has got immense talent. The question is, can he stay fit? That has been
Yeah.
the question always. But anywhere else, the striker, like this is
We
why, and I
definitely
want to
need an
end.
next striker.
Yeah, so this is what I want to end it with you now with the striker thing, Ryan. There seems like there's a certain type of striker that we need,
Yeah.
and more I get into this Maresca philosophy and the fact that we're not in for Osimhen, it actually makes sense. Not only from a financial standpoint, Osimhen can be done, but I think for Enzo Maresca's football, I think Osimhen doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who in the market makes sense for that type of football?
Exactly. Ambrosia doesn't make sense either for that. That's why he's gonna go to.
Yeah.
Um.
I felt someone
uh,
like Broja, maybe we could have developed him to that. Maybe not. I don't know. He's young, but he's on the way out, so forget about him. One brother, I don't know if you've seen him play, Sporting striker. You're curious. I
you think
feel
he
like
could fit
he's
that horizontal role? Okay, I'll tell you like this, Miz. You see that spine I told you about?
yeah,
They need to be able to do it not only centrally, but to the left and to the right. That whole
correct,
spine, except the keeper, of course. But that
correct.
whole spine. Defender, centre back, regista,
Yeah.
attacking midfielder, and striker, they must be able to play in that three thirds that I drew in the first 10 minutes.
Hmm.
They
You
need
got
to
any
move
striker
horizontal.
in your mind that you're thinking that fills that mold?
Wow, it's difficult. It's difficult. I think that's
Hmm.
why I say stick with Nicholas Jackson, because when I think about Nicholas Jackson, he just needs he needs to smoothen out the edges, he needs someone who could smoothen out those edges. You have anybody in mind for that?
Look, this is why I was actually sticking with Nicholas Jackson up front and getting someone like Michael Olise. Someone threw in the
What
um,
Fofana?
David Datra Fofana. Yeah, he could potentially, but these, I feel like going from, but then again, we're looking at David Datra Fofana as a backup to Nicholas Jackson, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Um, I think that makes sense. I think Fofana could potentially do that. He's someone who's got the attributes of doing that, 100%. But it's still a bit underwhelming for next season. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
And solely relying on Nicholas Jackson to deliver the goods up front as well is also a little bit scary. Is he going to develop that ruthless shooting side of his? We shall
You
see.
think Nkunku could do it?
I did throw Nkunku, but a lot of people don't like that idea. But I've sort of said Nkunku can, as you said, go vertical and horizontal and create whichever side he needs to go to. I feel like he can
Yeah,
do that.
this
And we
area
may
lead.
see, Nkunku be deployed like that as well.
It
Um,
does help us a lot tactically, except for the aerial part, of course. But
the aerial
yeah,
part we do get downgraded on. But it has to be a certain type of a striker. That's the bottom line, right, Ryan? It can't just be any striker in the market and just bring him in. It's got to be a certain type of a striker.
yeah, and it's difficult to find. It's difficult to find. It needs to be a hybrid winger striker,
Yeah. This
but
is why a
not a
lot of
center
people.
forward, not a center forward, if that
Can
makes
I throw
sense.
in a name? Someone said in my live chat not that long ago.
Mm.
Raheem Sterling. I know
No,
underwhelming, but some
what
people
about
have been
Ollie
throwing him.
Watkins?
Ooh, you're saying go into the market and get someone, huh?
Yeah, Ollie
Proper.
Watkins. That would be
Ollie Watkins would be fantastic.
he
But he
can do
ain't
that
coming though.
hybrid winger striker.
He ain't coming though. He's not going to leave Aston Villa, who's made it into Champions League. All of these Aston Villa players will stick around at Aston Villa for this season, bare
Yeah, but
minimum.
that's the type of striker we would need, like someone who could play that wide area
Yeah,
and
yeah.
top area. That's a perfect striker though. Wow.
I
For
like Ollie
us.
Watkins. I like Ollie Watkins a lot, man. Yeah. Victor
Raheem Sterling
Gyökeres.
though. I ain't gonna let that slip though. Like what you just said, you said Raheem Sterling for striker. Miss what? Yo, this video 1 hour and 20 minutes. Just starting to take a toll on you, bro.
Watch me get absolutely hammered in the. I'm not saying this. Some people have said it. Not my words. Some people said this. Some
Pagal,
people is not me.
pagal.
But Victor Gyökeres is someone. I don't know if you've seen him from Sporting.
Yeah, I have to look him more. I have to look him more.
He's good. He's good. But on that note, Ryan, wow, what a show. I honestly don't think anyone has done a tactical breakdown of this level, in my personal opinion. I appreciate
Yeah,
the time you've given me, Ryan. We've spent quite a lot of time on this, and I'm pretty sure it's an absolute banger. I'm going to try
yeah,
and
yeah.
send it to as many people as I can to have a look at it. And in the comment section, let us know. Do you agree with the things that we've said? Do you think it's just as simple as what Leicester did, and we just basically copy and paste that at Chelsea and just apply Chelsea players on top? Or Reece James to play Ricardo Pereira role,
Who's
Enzo
the other guy you
Fernandez to
said?
huh?
The funny name you said.
Yeah,
Who was the other
Enzo
role?
Fernandez to play the Dewsbury Hall role.
Yeah.
Please, none of that
But
is happening at Chelsea Football
Miss
Club.
Bahan,
So
so much fun. Sorry if it was scrappy a little bit. Kind of rusty. Didn't do this in a long time.
no,
But
it's good, bro.
yeah, I had so much fun. And yo, if you all like me and Miz, like this
Come
video,
on.
subscribe, but also put ideas on what you'd like to see me and Miz do. And you want to tell them the surprise for next month? Well, that in July 9th. Oh no, okay.
Come
No, no, no,
on,
no,
come on.
no.
Surprise coming up. Surprise
Okay,
coming
okay.
up.
Okay, but
But yeah, hopefully, a beautiful surprise coming up for all you guys very, very soon. And I think it's going to be fantastic. So yeah, we'll look
okay.
out for that one. But yeah, ladies and
Alright.
gentlemen, smash the like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe, hit the bell notification to keep in touch with all my content, and comment. We really want to hear what you guys have to say about everything we talked about. Does it make sense or not? Until next time, everyone. Take care. See ya.